Welcome back. Still here on the campus of Florida Panhandle Technical College. Today, meeting with members of the Chipley High School class of 2018 project graduation. Joining us now is Gage Carter. Still have Lila Taylor, who was in the first segment, along with Jacqueline Stewart. Here talking about maybe some of the parts of project graduation with which people may not be familiar. This is basically a very long fundraiser. Gage, when did you actually start the planning and the fundraising for this upcoming project graduation?
The planning started at the beginning of the school year, and all the parents and the students came together. We had a few meetings, and we talked about what we're going to do at project graduation. And we actually, the students actually had a few choices to choose from, and then we ended up choosing the Ag Center. And
when you say you had a few choices, where else could you have done it?
Rocket Lanes, and what else?
A cruise. Universal.
That'd be a little more expensive.
Yes. Very more expensive. Universal Studios, Sky Zone, and then just like a few little places like that.
Probably an easier sell to get people to contribute when they know that you're not spending the money on a cruise.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But go on.
Last week we sold raffle tickets, 50-50 raffle tickets, and
That was at the football game?
yes, sir. And altogether we made a little over $1,000, and the winner took home $525.
So that's a 50-50?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The way that works is that somebody buys a ticket for X number of dollars, you do the drawing, the winner gets half, and you guys get to keep half.
Yes, sir.
That creates a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz.
Yes, sir.
It's gambling. So I imagine, do you catch any heat from some people in the community who say, oh, you know, gambling's not what we should be doing?
Surprisingly, no, but it's actually funny because a lot of people do jump on it more, and I wonder if that's why. You know, it may those that have, you know.
Because it's one of the times when you can get away with it,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like one of those forbidden pleasures.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just asked because when the slot issue came up in Ebro back a few years ago, the West Florida Baptist Association came to us to produce TV commercials, you know, basically campaigning against it, and Ebro Greyhound Park came to us to produce commercials for it. And both sides knew that we were doing it for both sides, and they were both good with it. So, I mean, it was good with us because we're getting paid to do what we do. But nonetheless, this is a spiritual community, and sometimes, you know, people are very sensitive to some of those things. So, you did have a 50-50 wrap. Do you continue to do those at every home game from now until project graduation?
We had one at the beginning of the season, and it didn't make nearly as much as we did at homecoming game.
Do you think that's because you've got a lot of people who are from out of town or coming in for that game?
I feel like it had to do with, first of all, attendance of the game, and second of all, more hype has been built up since then.
Sure.
I know after the first game I did it, I handed out tickets the first game, or tried to sell them, and when I came back to the next home game, people were looking for me to buy another one, but we weren't doing it that game, however. But
now, did you actually participate in the actual physical sales of tickets that night?
Yes, sir. We started selling them a few weeks before, and we went. Each student had at least 20 tickets to sell.
Ah, okay. So
Yes.
you had an extended period of time.
Yes, sir.
So that
yes,
certainly
sir.
helped. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
for the second time we
And
did.
then me and Dominic actually went out during the football game and walked through the stands and sold some tickets.
Now, Dominic's a senior this year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He actually helped my wife move our office the last time we physically moved. I was all I had a rotator cuff surgery, so I was in a sling. And Dominic and Chandler Corbin actually helped my wife to move all the stuff that's here that you see today. So I forgot if you gave me an answer or not. Do you think that there will be another opportunity for this 50-50 between now and graduation?
There's a possibility, but we don't have many more home games, so.
Yeah, there's only one home game left, I believe. So
The
we'll
next
have to
two
get
are
on
away,
it.
right?
It's away at
Freeport?
Walton,
Yeah.
and then we play Liberty County home for the last game of the season, and then it's Holmes County away.
Okay. All right. You are the vice president of the student body, is that right? What's
Yes.
the governmental organization actually called now? What's the
Just student council.
student council? So it is still.
This is class officers,
Class
and then
officers.
student council's a separate shindig.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And
So we're
what's-
just in charge of like homecoming floats, which we just conquered that, and like reunions in the future and like speaking at graduation and, you know, just overall organization, really.
Reunions going forward. Now that's an interesting one. So somewhere there's a committee that's real mad at me that not having attended the last 45 reunions.
Probably so.
Is that a challenge in itself? Do you think people are getting, Lila, do you think people are getting away from going to reunions, or do you think there's a resurgence in that, or do you even know? I mean, have you even thought about any of that?
I don't really know. I know that I feel like it just depends on your attitude for that, like people's attitudes. Some people really get into it and some have no interest in it at all. And just depending on even the year, like the big ones, I'm sure like 50 reunions, 20-year, you know, everyone wants to come back, but you know, after a while, people probably just get tired of it. And
I wanted to go just to see who was bald and fat, you know, and I could say, yeah, I look better than that. I think that reunions, from what I've seen and observed, is that it kind of follows the same pattern that the actual society within the school follows. I mean, if you're part of that football cheerleader, you know, pep squad, if you're part of that inner circle, then chances are you're going to probably be part of that. If you're that outsider in high school, chances are you're not going to come running back for reunions, you know, and that's probably why, you know, I feel the way that I do. What's the best part of working towards project graduation, Gage?
All the prizes that are going in the project graduation that we're able to win.
Have you got some ideas of some of what those are now yet? Or
I think there's a few TVs
wow.
and a Yeti cooler.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything else as of right now.
Well, you still got a long way to go.
Yes, sir.
So you're actually working for the better part of 9 months, putting this thing together. It sounds like, though, it takes that long by the time you've done all the fundraising, all the planning. So you were here this morning with Jacqueline. So that's 3 of you. Are there any others on the student or on this committee?
Haley Patton is an ambassador, Autumn Wells is secretary, and Dominic Boughton is parliamentarian.
Okay.
So we all just kind of work together as one big team. Like we don't, you know.
Haley was here not too long ago getting
yes,
pictures
sir.
taken after she won Distinguished Young Women of Washington County. So you've got some people who are very prominent in the community, in school. Dominic, one of the star basketball players. Do you play sports, or what other extracurricular activities are you involved in?
I just play baseball.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you pretty good? I mean, are you a starter?
Yes, sir. I start.
Okay. We've taken your picture then, haven't we?
Yes, sir.
See, I don't recognize anybody out of uniform, so forgive me for that. You guys did pretty well this last season, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't able to make it to state, but
Well, that's not everything. Going forward, what's this next season look like?
we look pretty good. We hadn't started practice yet, but it'll come.
Yeah.
January.
With a small school, and we talked about the relatively small graduating class, you end up with the baseball team waiting for basketball to end so that they can come on over and you can have your whole team to practice with. You see some of that with some of the other sports as well, where they overlap somewhat. That's a challenge, but it also makes for some really tight-knit teams. When you've got some of these teams that play both directions, you know, that's pretty strong. We shoot a lot of middle school stuff too, and I think it's, I want to say Graceville, relatively small middle school basketball girls team, and they might have been 7 or 8 people. So that means that you've got, you know, a lot of those girls never get off the court. That's tough. So, and they're obviously smaller school even than Chipley is. Gage, in your own words, what is project graduation all about for our viewers who just don't know?
It's to keep all of our student body safe, keep them off the roads from parties and everything, and so your parents don't have to worry about you after graduation.
As seniors, you've seen project graduations for at least the 4 years you've been in high school, and then obviously you've been aware of it before that with middle school and all. What do you think overall, Gage, is the reaction of most students when it comes to project graduation? Is it embracing of it in that they want to be there? Are there a lot of them that scoff about it and say, oh, you know, that's kid stuff, I don't want to be there? Obviously, we're kind of enticing the students by all these cool prizes. I mean, TVs, I didn't know about that. What do you think overall is the attitude of that student body about project graduation?
I've heard a lot of people are going to attend because of all the prizes, and like Lila said last time, it's just a place where everybody comes together for one last time.
And as seniors this year, we're able to invite friends, like a friend, like an underclassman, and I know like a lot of there's like hype about that. Like everybody's like, oh, give me your ticket, you know.
Yeah.
So people are pretty excited, I think.
Well, yeah, because they'll have equal
Yeah,
opportunity to win
everybody wants
stuff.
to be. No, they don't actually.
Okay.
It's just for the seniors, but like
Okay.
everybody just wants to be part of the like party, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, and that makes sense. Let me ask you a question. You're going to project graduation, so on that specific night, you're not going to get yourself into trouble, hopefully. What happens the next night and the night after that? Do you think that project graduation also has a larger goal of awareness? I've never been to an entire project graduation, so I haven't seen all that goes on. Is there some informational stuff? Do they take time that they have a captive audience to try to encourage you going forward not to drink and drive, not to text and drive? Is there a bigger educational effort there, or is it strictly about having a good time on that night?
maybe I feel like there is an underly come out and like preach, which may actually be a good idea, considering all like the the efforts they put into it. But it is an encouragement, I guess, to people to stay out.
You would like to think that there's a year-round or a lifelong effort to do
Yes,
just
sir.
that. Within the school, I know that it's a lot different when I went. You don't teach some subjects now, some are or have more of a stress on them than before. Are you guys preached to, for lack of a better term, and I know that we don't bring religion into the school, but do we talk about alcohol use, drug use, using your cell phone when driving? Are there opportunities when you have, whether it's class content or at some point in time during class time, that you're talked to about that?
We have assemblies sometimes, like the sheriff's department or somebody like that will come put on for us, usually like a few times a year, that are pretty serious, and they'll give us a little talking to. And even last year, I know a lady came. Remember?
And there was it happened in Panama City, and the dude was out drinking, and he decided to drive home.
And the guy that actually hit her, they became closer friends because they both wanted to, like, they're like, I never want this to happen again. So they go to schools, and like the guy that killed her daughter, I don't know, making this confusing.
I met
but,
them.
Yeah.
I met them, yeah. Does it stick? Do you think that this stuff is effective within your peer group?
Yes, sir, I think so. Last year, they all gave us these bracelets, this DUI promise, and I've seen a lot of people still wearing them.
Yes, sir.
And
And this is
It's-
what? You're promising what?
it's to not drink and drive or text and drive
Yeah.
or just drive under the influence.
There's a lot to be said for a designated driver, and you can always pull over if you're alone in your car to use a cell device or a smart device. There's nothing worth losing somebody, obviously, and we're not here to talk about that, but that is the whole thrust of Project Graduation. How many years will Chipley have been doing Project Graduation? Have you got any idea?
I don't know.
Do you think it's been around 20 years?
Yeah, probably about 20. That sounds about right. My parents didn't have it growing up, so.
Right. Do you, what position, what role does the student or the school administration take within that Project Graduation? Is this a totally student-driven, student-oriented, driven effort, or teachers and staff and parents helping out in the background to make all this happen?
Mainly this year, like all the students, like I said, we got to vote on where we were having Project Graduation, and we also got to vote on the theme. But there still is the parents and the school administration that helps.
Like chaperone or organize everything.
What do you think about Chipley High School?
It's great.
Have you had the opportunity to see other schools or to experience,
I've been in Chipley my whole life, but I love it.
What about you, Gage?
Yes, sir. I love Chipley High School.
What do you like
I
about
think-
Chipley?
I think that it is better than other schools, to be honest. Because, I've never actually been to other schools, but I just know that we have really great teachers. Like, it's like challenging enough. I learn a lot. They're supportive of us. The teachers are like, they want what's best for us, and they try to like keep it fun, but also like I said, challenge us to help us, move forward and be the best we can be in life.
During your years of high school, have you had a teacher or two that you didn't care for and that you didn't feel did the kind of job that you maybe would have liked to have
There's
gotten?
always those teachers that, don't do as well as others, but the good outweighs the bad, so.
Is there ever an opportunity to give feedback to those teachers, maybe anonymously, to let them know that, constructive criticism, or do you think that they would even pay attention?
Yes, sir. think they had taken into consideration all of what we had to say about them and how much they've helped us or not helped us in some ways.
Sure. High school's a tough several years. It's a lot of changes, between middle school and graduation from high school. You go through all kinds of changes and, start dealing with things that you've never dealt with before. Our daughters and even our sons have called us, after they move away from home and said, do you know what it costs for a power bill every month? Did you know that it costs this much to do your laundry? Did you know a washer dryer costs this much? So, there's a lot of things out there you don't have to deal with when you're under your parents' roof, and, life is not getting any cheaper. What's your plans for the future, Gage?
I'm actually taking the electrical class here at the technical college.
Dual enrolled?
Yes, sir. And I really want to get on with the power company, but if that doesn't work out, I'm going to try my best to be an electrician.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Curtis Green is a great instructor here on campus. Do you like him?
Yes, sir.
I shouldn't have said that before I asked you if you like him. He'll probably watch this, so you're probably best off saying it. But now, with dual enroll, people don't understand that with dual enrollment, it costs you nothing, it costs your parents nothing. You come for half a day, and in some cases, people get to graduate or get certified in a trade here before they even graduate high school. It's pretty strong. What do you think about the entire program?
Yes, sir. I started last year, and it's something I like to do because I planned on going to college, but then I changed after I attended this class, and it's just something I like to do.
Well, if you're like Jacqueline and you know exactly what you want to do and you want to put on braces for the rest of your life and make the big bucks, but sometimes if you don't know, there's nothing wrong with when you're in high school maybe taking some dual enrolled classes just to find out. What we tell people a lot is that even if you're going to engineering school after the fact, if you get certified as a welder or as a pharmacy tech or as a cosmetologist, at least you can do that part-time while you're working your way through college. Better than flipping burgers. Not a thing wrong with working at McDonald's, but if you don't have to do that, if you can make better money doing something as a trade, even you yourself, once you've got some kind of certification as an electrician or electrician's helper even, if you decide to go on to college, you could actually do that part-time and help work your way through college. So.
Yes, sir.
Well, good luck with that career going forward. Lila, we already talked to you about your plans for the future. Again, thanks for taking the time. I know that this is probably not something that was probably your favorite thing to think about having to do today. I will tell you that at the end of the day, our viewers want to hear, in your own words, what you're doing. What's going on in Chipley, what's going on at the high school. I think Project Graduation is a worthwhile cause. Our purpose, obviously, is to get people out there to contribute, to help you guys out. If people want to contribute, if they want to find out more about Project Graduation, what's the best way for them to do that?
You could actually go up to the school, and in the front office, Miss April, she'll help you. And we're selling Boston butts, and they're $25, and you could get up with any senior student, and they'll have paperwork for you.
So when are those going to be available?
The deadline is November 10th
Well,
for the place the orders, and then you pick them up the day before graduation.
Boss wants to say something.
They're selling them for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. Is that right? The 3 holidays. So we're going to do several.
wow.
So anytime this year
So they're $25 in all 3 cases.
Yes, sir.
So if you want a Boston butt for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or Easter, you're going to be offering them. So really, probably your best bet for information on Facebook?
Yes,
Probably.
sir.
Do you guys have a Facebook page for the school, or where does most of the information come from that you guys want to get out there? Is there a Project Graduation Facebook page?
Yes, sir. It's I think is it Class 2018 Project Graduation? I think that's the name of the page.
Okay. Well, we'll find that out. It's on the bottom of your screen right now because after the show, we've actually found out, and we're going to have that down there. But if you want to find out more information about the Class of 2018 Chipley High School Project Graduation, you can certainly go to that site. Is there anything that I failed to ask? Anything that you'd like to add, Gage?
No, sir.
Lila, I gave you a chance in the first segment. How about you? Is there anything that you would offer to our viewers?
No, sir.
You guys are hungry, and I can hear your stomachs from here. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
This is worthwhile time, and although you won't be running for your offices next year, this would have given you some votes if you had gotten it. Thanks again for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Our guests this segment have been Gage Carter and Lila Taylor, both of them officers of the class of 2018 student body, here talking about Project Graduation coming up on Tuesday, May 24th. Is that correct? And if you want to find out more, you can go to the link on the bottom of the page right now. I encourage you to get involved. As you heard in their own words, an opportunity for these young adults to stay off the roads. More importantly, the bigger picture is that message that we've been preaching to them their entire life, and that's to be prudent in all things, be safe, and don't take away what enjoyment that your parents or grandparents have in you being in this world. We'll be right back.